I thought of something to say to you, which I think that I found meaningful, and I hope that I can share with you guys. And I'll leave the option if anyone wants to bring up a topic to talk about. My favorite topic, as I mentioned this countless times before, is something that someone else comes up with. Because I can speak about any topic, almost any topic, but it's hard for me to come up with things to talk about.
So like a stump the rabbi type thing?
No, if you have something to say, to share with them, otherwise I just talk. If you could stump the rabbi, then that'll be great. But you have something to say, Matthew?
No.
So I had an idea that I wanted to share with everyone here today, and I'm trying to think of how to present it. I'll present it the way I presented it yesterday when I spoke up north in Temple Beth Torah in Humble, near the airport. Nice drive. So we're trying to come up with a formula, something, a repeatable maybe algorithm for how a person could change their priorities and how a person could reshift their focus. I know I talk about this a lot of times, but I think it's important, and especially when people have priorities in their life, in their relationships, and they want to maintain those and to deepen those and to sustain those and not lose what they have. It's important to learn the tools or the processes necessary, or what are the mechanics of actually taking an idea or a principle or a priority, a value, and it could be an intellectual value, or it could be also a value of a relationship, and making sure that what's the process of developing that, and then what's the process of maintaining that. And I think that there's really two ways to do it. And this is what I want to share with you guys tonight. So imagine you have a child who you tell them that don't touch the fire. Why should I not touch the fire? The fire is very hot, very dangerous. It'll burn. And the child believes you. You're your parent. Parents aren't going to lie to their children in something like this. And every child knows that the fire is hot and don't touch the fire. My oldest son, Akiva, he once stuck his hand in a fire. And he got a huge burn. Now, he knew the fire was hot beforehand. But he has a nice little scar here on his left arm. Whenever he wants to remember which is right and which is left, he looks to see which one's his scar hand. So what I want to argue is that even though you have two children that know the same information with absolute certainty, you tell a child the fire is hot, they don't doubt it for a second. There's a difference between the knowledge of one child who knows it as an intellectual principle that he was told, and the knowledge of the other child who actually experienced it, right? You could feel it, right? You think of a fire as being hot, and you just harken back to that time where you actually put your hand in the fire, and you get the chills, right? That kind of knowledge. So what I want to try to figure out is how to take a piece of information, a knowledge, and to try to translate that from being merely the theoretical to the tangible. What I was speaking about yesterday, to try to give you a little bit more context here, was I was speaking about the idea, they wanted a series on God. So I'm giving a 6-part series on God. And I was saying, I was trying to build it from the ground up. I said that, hey, what's the definition of God? What's a Jewish definition of God? And what it means to believe in God doesn't just mean, it means the idea of faith versus the idea of knowledge. We don't believe in blind faith. It has to be based in some intellectual understanding. And after all of that, I told him that when we talk about real faith, we're not necessarily focusing on a knowledge in your head. The real faith in God comes when someone actually, it's real, it's tangible. I give an example is that imagine, this example went awry before, so please. So imagine you're going to speak to the president or the chancellor, not the chancellor, the prime minister, the queen, right? So when you go to speak to the president or to the Queen of England, you're going to put on a tie and put on your best shirt and maybe buy new shoes and brush your hair and put yourself together.
Not me.
Not you. No, you speak to someone who's important, right? You'll be nervous when you walk into the office. Right, exactly. So I say, is there something wrong with me and my faith? Something wrong with me and my faith when every time I pray and I talk to the Almighty God, and I really believe I'm talking to the Almighty God, but I don't put on a tie, and I don't put on a jacket, and I don't wear spiffy shoes. I don't brush my hair and shave every time I pray. Is something wrong with my faith? Is it possible we could say that maybe it's not as real? That my faith is not as real? It might be just an intellectual principle that I know up here, but I don't feel it. It's not tangible, right? It's not. I haven't stuck my finger in the fire, so to speak. What do you guys think?
Well, if you don't dress right, people are not going to take you seriously. When you're praying to God,
right? You see it. You see other people talking to important people and how they're dressed, how they're presenting themselves. So you do the same, but you don't necessarily, There's no protocol for talking to God.
Well, but why not? Is it possible? Because we don't.
Because everybody has.
Get you, Rachel.
Oh, sorry.
No,
Go. Please.
I was just going to say you have to present yourself in a different way. It's not about how you look. It's about what's inside.
How you really feel inside.
And it's also about your behavior reflects on, I don't know how to put it, but when you meet an important person, it's how you're dressed, how you look.
You're saying the externalities aren't important.
Yeah, you go it's your actions that are more important.
What you're really feeling inside your heart.
I think it's societal too. It's like I don't pray 3 times a day every day, or even necessarily every Shabbos, but on high holidays I go to synagogue and we dress up. It's just what society expects of you. But since you do it every day, you can't necessarily dress up.
Yeah, but the point I'm trying to use the clothing example as a springboard for the actual idea.
I mean, is it at the end of the day? I mean, I think it goes to the external versus internal relationship. At the same time, I feel like perhaps it's everybody has their own unique relationship with God, so you can. Actually, one of this from you. I don't pray every day, but I say thank God a lot to myself. It's weird. I think that's considered praying. Maybe I don't know.
For sure, you heard that here.
I guarantee you, God willing, I'll go home. I'll drive home tonight, and I make it home. And oh, thank God. Okay, I'm good. Yeah. Then I'll text my mom. Mom, I'm home because she freaks out about me still. And then she'll on the other end, she says the same thing. She's like, oh, thank God he's home, because she's worried about me driving, whatever.
So we have a.
I think there's another. Yeah.
It's also showing appreciation. The other day, my friend was having a bunch of drama with her family, so it was just made me I called up my parents, thanking them how much I appreciate them. My dad's like, is this a Hallmark card call? And I'm just maybe I just want to call you guys how I'm appreciative and thank you for being very supportive. What my friend was going through with her family was just
crazy.
Yeah, crazy. It made me really appreciative. And I think Judaism teaches us how to be appreciative and be thankful. And did you know there's a study that people are more happy when they show appreciation?
Well, for sure.
Yeah. They even did a study over it.
I think my actual question could be easily answered with any one of the answers, the externalities or the fact that it's a different, unique relationship. Or we could say that, well, what do you think, Dana?
Why did you do that to me?
Or it's possible that we could say, listen, we describe our God as Avinu Malkeinu, our Father, our King. It's not the relationship that someone has. It's not just the relationship that we have with a king. It's also your dad. You can speak to your dad in your boxers, right? You have a.
That's the only way we talk.
There's a certain degree of comfort, and that's why, like you say, I always try to, I tell my kids this all the time, but I try to teach and try to practice this idea as well, is that talking to God is not, you don't have to be in a certain place where wearing certain clothing, speaking from a certain, out of a book, in a foreign language. It's about really talking to God in English throughout your day.
Or even like just through your actions, like giving back to the community, just trying to, I guess, be God's image.
You reminded me.
Maybe like in like doing things like when you realize like how good you have it, show appreciation when you know you can give back or helping others.
Yeah, but my question like this I want to try to hone in on my question. And that is the idea of, do we really, really, really believe when we're talking to God in whatever variant, wherever setting that we are, that we're really talking to the Almighty God, creator of heaven and earth, right? Do we really believe that? And even if we know that, if we have faith, okay, I believe in God like 98% of Americans, but is it real? Is it as real as this is a fable and that the president's a powerful guy? The president's 1/3 of the government, right? The executive branch, and it's 3 more years, or a maximum of 8 years, and it's really not that, can't really impact. And then in 50 years, it's just the history books. But God Almighty has been around forever, will be around forever. Like, do we really believe that, or not? Sorry for getting the tool. What do you say, Rachel?
No, I was just going to say, like, sometimes you think, maybe it's not even real. Let's just say you have that idea, but then you see something, or something happens, and then you're just like...
But let's say you know it's real. I'm trying to argue that there's this in-between stage of knowing something is real in your brain and not having not impact your heart. We have a statement in the Talmud that says as follows. One of the great rabbis, he said to his students, he says, students, your fear of heaven should be like your fear of man. I'm like, what? We should fear heaven much more than we fear man. And he says, then listen, whenever you're about to sin, you turn around and make sure no one's watching you. But what about God Almighty? He's watching you. Right? And this was his motto. This is like a famous motto in the Talmud, that your fear of heaven should be as great as your fear of man. And this underscores the problem with our faith, and even back in ancient times, was that someone could actually have faith, have a knowledge, have a value, right? And it be relegated to their intellect. And it won't actually impact their lives, their actions, their activities, their character. It won't really penetrate. There won't be this integration.
So they'll still touch the fire.
What?
You're saying.
I mean, they'll know that the fire is hot, but they won't feel it. It won't be as real to them. And I think this problem, I would to argue, is that all of our mitzvot, all of our prayers, everything that the Jewish religion is telling us to do, is all trying to bridge that gap.
Yeah, as soon as you pray or something, you feel closer, then you understand. Like,
Closer but more real.
yeah.
Like we have our tefillin, right? The tefillin is one on the head and one on the arm, close to the heart. And the idea being is that tefillin is one of the symbolic mitzvot because it symbolizes what the idea of a mitzvah is: to take the principles of the intellect and have it penetrate to the heart. And I think that this is the problem. I think that. So how do you do that? How do you take a intellectual principle and have it penetrate to your heart?
Maybe also show what the
Well, wear tefillin, but you can wear tefillin also mindlessly, as I do all the time.
Show the effects, show the consequences of the action.
Means I think another example of this is problem. Sorry for cutting you off there.
Women don't wear tefillin, right?
Women don't wear tefillin, no.
Maybe with wearing tefillin, they feel like the hands around them, so they're more likely.
They say that the daughters of Rashi wore tefillin. It's the
And they feel more obligated to follow, and do more.
The reason why women don't wear tefillin is, first of all, they're not obligated wearing tefillin, just as any time-based mitzvah women aren't obligated in, like tzitzis, for example. But it also has to do with the fact that in order to wear tefillin, you have to have a what's called, this is in halacha, clean body, and women sometimes are cyclically inclined to be unable to wear tefillin. So, yeah, that was recorded.
That's beautiful.
I'm sorry. That's just someone brought that
He
up.
said it cyclically, not cyclically.
Cyclically inclined. So therefore, women, wouldn't want to wear tefillin and then say, "Oh, I can't wear tefillin today." This will be awkward and uncomfortable.
Women should be able to when they want to, and
No, it's a thing. It's the kind of thing where it's like
it's more of an inconvenience.
there's a whole gamut of commandments that are women only mitzvot, and there's men only mitzvot. But even the men only mitzvot, some women could do. Anyhow, back to the subject at hand. Oh, so someone can have. Sometimes you see. There's something. Nothing disturbs me more. Everyone knows I have a lot of pet peeves. Nothing disturbs me more is like when I'm hanging out with a bunch of guys, and one guy, a person, were to speak negatively about their spouse, and it happens to me all the time. I see it, and it bothers me so much to no end. Have you?
It's like.
What do you mean, in conversation, or they change?
No, like I'm talking to you, or
the guys are all-
and I speak negatively about my wife, right?
Oh yeah, she.
Women are so. Like,
she all she does is blah blah blah.
Well, sometimes you need to vent it out, so then maybe.
no, but that's you don't speak bad of. Well, that's what I think. But I also think that if you ask that guy, listen, this is your partner in life, right? This is someone you're going to have your kids with, right? This is the mother of your children, right? They might very well agree to that. Right? People might actually know this is the person, but their actions don't reflect that. There's this divide, a chasm between what they know
Or they feel.
and what they actually feel and do. Right? You can know something, and you know that something's bad. Like, who here were to agree with this statement? Everyone here has a smartphone?
Yes. Well, the majority of the population.
No, everyone around the room.
Yes.
Yeah? Would everyone agree with the following statement, that if you maybe use your smartphone less, you probably will be more productive? Would everyone agree to that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. Okay.
I disagree with that because sometimes my smartphone makes me more productive because
I
I'm looking
wrote
up
papers on my phone.
Okay, how about this? Would everyone agree that maybe they waste a little bit too much time on their smartphones?
Yes.
Yes?
No.
Okay.
Or she disagrees.
No, you.
There's an exception to every rule.
We have this to communicate with other therapists. I don't just go on it.
Okay.
I don't have time to just, let's Facebook. Woo,
It didn't
I'm going to the bathroom.
No, it didn't help you remember what you need to remember today.
Damn it. I forgot. Okay, I'm human.
It didn't help
Okay.
you.
But it's better that I remember myself. This is hurting our memories. More and more of us are probably going to get Parkinson's because we are not. Do you know my phone number? No, because you don't put it into your memory. You just stick it in.
It's like that time Dana forgot my name.
What?
It's like that time you forgot my name.
I know your name.
Well, okay, we don't.
No, my boy's like this. Is it possible? I know for myself that I waste too much time on my phone.
100%.
Yeah.
And I kind of know that it'd probably be good for me to just get one of those flip phones. It would probably be the best thing for me.
Every
But
time you
But if
realize
you're
when
lost,
it's broken, then suddenly you're like,
something.
You
well, I
read
can't
it
do
back.
this now. What do I
When
do?
it's loaded
That's
up,
when you
you're
realize.
like, oh, okay, so maybe I could do something else.
It's crazy.
Charging.
No, it's crazy how people don't know how to read maps anymore. Like,
Well, but
never
wait,
knew how to read a map.
I love Shabbos. I don't use my phone the whole Shabbos, obviously. And every Shabbos, read something, I read a book. It's awesome. It's just such an awesome experience. I have tons of books here that I would never read if not biographies and But my point is that something that even though you know it's good for you, you're not going to actually do it, and you know for sure it's good for you, you're not going to actually do it. Another example of this, and this is I think a real problem that we have. As humans, I did this exercise once before, a long time ago. I'll do it again here. So has anyone here, well, this is the girl from England probably is an exception. Does anyone here have the confidence to say that they have never texted while they drove?
I tried to only
Oh, whoa, yes or no?
If don't stop at a red light or stop sign.
Never.
While you're driving in the car,
You are technically
Everybody.
driving.
everybody has.
Just okay, like, yeah, absolutely.
I'll yes.
You
I can't trust with you. Oh no.
Carolina,
Why
right?
do you think I say? Why do you think I thank God for getting home safe?
I can save you so much time.
Or no, I have some
survived another.
I try not to text. I try to call people while I'm
Do
there.
you ever like remote texting and suddenly you're resident? That's
No,
why.
I'm not that. Like it's just, and I'll sit there in the car and I'm driving, and I'll be like, okay, I'm done, I'm done, and then like something else will come up, like, and I'm not like a swerve or anything, but just like I'm
No, but the thing is,
very absent-minded.
I guarantee you pressed the brakes really fast one time because you.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Well, that one time you don't pay attention in your car. That's why I don't do it. I text like okay, or I'll just wait. I'll read it sometimes, but I won't. If I need a reply with like more than like 2 letters, I'll just.
So I once had I think there were 20 people here, and no one could say that they had never texted while they drove. I said, and everyone seems to know that studies are
know.
It's
clear
worse than drunk driving.
that it's just the most dangerous thing you could possibly do.
Yeah.
So I should drink and drive more.
Well, it's actually really bad if you go towards where my aunt lives. So there's
Where's
less
that?
cars out in Richmond, Texas.
Yeah.
So you can actually go down 59 and see someone driving like this. You're like-
The whole
Yeah, I mean, you need to.
But the thing is,
At least
people are like,
read it.
it's more
You're gonna
dangerous.
read
People have always done that. Like, I've seen people on the freeway reading a newspaper. All my life, I've seen somebody knitting.
Oh my god.
Their steer was what they tie around and they knit.
Yeah.
In England, it's like it only takes
Sorry, I
15
just wanted to
minutes
get
to
out
get
of that.
somewhere, so you just stop on the side of the road. And you can't, like here you always drive in a straight line. But in England you can't, so you're always turning corners or changing.
Well, that's only a single lane. So if you just randomly stop to read the text in the middle of the road, you know, it doesn't
Has
matter.
anyone ever have this happen to them where you're by a red light and then you're texting and then it's already green, everyone behind you's beeping and you just haven't looked up?
Nobody beeps.
Yeah, I've done that
Nobody
twice.
Oh,
I was driving yesterday and the one had everyone and they were texting with no lights on.
I'll look up and think it's turned green, and I'll like almost go, and I'm like, oh, it's still red. Red.
Right, because the left lane's going. You're like, oh, no, that's a bad idea.
I can get a couple more letters in there.
It's that disconnect though that you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Like up here, I know it's terrible. Like, it's probably one of the worst
Well,
habits I have.
You joke
and-
about the zombie apocalypse happening. It's kind of already happening with kids stuck on their phones and they're not. They'll be on their phone, but there's a ton of people. That
Well, and it's true because my family was in town from England this past week. From, not England, Australia. Sorry, Australia. 31-hour flight, right? And we go home after dinner, and everybody's on the couch playing Words with Friends with the person they're sitting next to. They usually I'm like, we have Scrabble.
That's awesome.
Let's all play Scrabble.
Anyone ever plays Ruzzle?
What?
Ruzzle? No.
Is
Might be an only Android. It's like Boggle with pretty much Boggle with friends.
Good thing about smartphones is
So who wants to play me?
the kid, like,
I'm sorry.
for example, my friend,
Old iPhone.
his excuse for texting while driving is, I grew up texting while driving, so we're used to it, so I won't get in a car accident.
Like, yeah,
Yeah, people used to have the on those touch-tone phones.
Yeah.
It's like
Keyboards.
keyboards, but 3 letters per. Think how much more typing people have to do. It's probably safer now.
I'm calling with safer text because people can text by feel.
Now, plus, there's
I have
people
a
who can
swipe,
text.
so I text really fast. So
You can do it by
you probably have a swipe.
You can
Yeah,
text
voice is
faster
really well.
with buttons than on the screen.
Yeah, I
Or
know.
better than swipe.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you never look it up on YouTube later on, and then you'll see
Wait,
what
you see.
No, yeah, the world record is like 240 words a minute or something.
Because like, I
200?
remember back in England when I was young, you know, everyone started getting phones, and I was hanging around with this girl. She's like, "Oh my god, she just wrote like 500 words."
Now the world record is like 244 words per minute, and
A
the
mini
guy
novel.
mistakes.
right.
Yeah, but
How many words?
240
Oh, I'm a
words
slow
per minute.
typer.
and no
40?
mistakes.
40?
244. And no mistakes.
If you look at it,
Wait,
you
and
should
that
put-
is
predictive text.
yeah, now it's like it
No,
takes
no,
a
no, no,
second.
no. This was like a keyboard phone back in the day.
If you look it up on
Yeah,
YouTube,
yeah,
and
just
then
type
you'll be
these.
surprised.
Wow.
Oh, the T9.
You'll see someone going like that.
It was
And
9.
they're done.
It was insane. I saw the video. That's
With
insane.
10 key, I was such a slow texter that it was even worse than me texting.
So, Jared, what do you say about this problem?
I
forgot the problem already.
The problem
Well,
is,
I think like
Oh, the connecting in your mind.
yeah, and I think it's the
Well,
number one.
It's
kind of the original question is correct me if I'm wrong. Like in your mind, intellectually, you know and believe
Whatever it is.
whatever it is.
Well, sometimes people don't believe anything. We're not talking about that. People who know.
But how does this happen? What's this? Can we start
But you said
a relationship with God? Like,
Well, it could be that. It could be regular relations. Like I said, I like those people that you see that badmouth their wives or mistreat their wives.
I think it's something to strive for. For example,
Habit, question, yeah.
Rabbi gave me this little thing one time. I said to him, I said, you pray 3 times a day, and on Shabbos and Shabbos, and I started praying regularly on Shabbos with them, and I found the service at the JC in Austin. The service was beautiful. The rabbi that sang over me with a beautiful voice, and it felt really cool spiritually. And I said to him, you did this for 20 years. How is it as beautiful to you as it is to me? And he said, that's the point of prayer, to strive to make it important. You have to continue to strive to have that connection and that feeling. And I think that's connecting very much to your heart. You have to strive to make that happen.
Let me tell you a story. And
That's my better.
no, that's good. It's good, but this story happened to me. I've for sure said it here a million times because it's my favorite story, and like it's one of the stories that actually happened to you about my late great grandfather. Great as in the adjective.
not as in your grandfather's grandfather.
Not as in my grandfather's father, but my
Father.
yeah, like the adjective. So he lived to be 90, almost 91, and he wrote many books, and he was a very influential rabbi in Israel. And at the end of his life, he had cancer, and he was sick, and he was in and out of the hospital. He was 90 and a half already, and he would wake up in the middle of the night, and every night he needed someone to take care of him. My grandmother, she should live and be well. She's also already like 92 or 93. She's awesome. She's like going to yoga and Pilates now. But, oh, she's awesome. She's like learning new languages. I love it. That's good. Sometimes when you lose a spouse and you're old, you just wither away. But sometimes you have
Rejuvenated.
Anyhow, so he was really sick, and every night he would wake up, and my grandmother, she wouldn't get a night's sleep. So they asked the grandchildren every night. A different grandchild slept with my grandfather. In one room, and if he would wake up, he'd take care of him. Fine. That was. Anyhow, so I was there one night, and I was there. I just did the whole overnight. I was up the whole overnight because he has like this treasure trove of like forbidden manuscripts. It was like so like I opened it and I was reading all these stuff and Kabbalah and whatnot, and it's like, ooh. Anyhow, but every half hour my grandfather was waking up and he was asking me, is it time to go to Shachris yet? Is it time to go to daven? It's time to go to pray. And I would say, no, it's only 2:30 in the morning. Prayer's until 7:30. Like, go back to sleep. So I went back to sleep and woke up again a half hour later, 3 o'clock. It's like, there's a time. And I said, no. He waits up literally every half hour. He's waking up in anticipation for prayer. And then it was like 4 in the morning. He starts getting dressed. And I'm like, Saba, don't get dressed now. I'll make sure you wake up, right? It's like, no, he gets dressed and he's sitting there, literally like this, on his bed, waiting. Not kidding. It's a true story. It happened to me. Waiting. And this and his life was like that because he found a way to make that connection in his relationship with the Almighty. To him, he was talking to God. To him, it was nothing more exciting than prayer. To me, it's like it's onerous, it's monotonous, it's repetitive, it's something which is a burden. Unfortunately, but that's because in my mind I know I'm talking to God, but I don't actually experience it.
Right. It's like what I was going to strive to make that meaningful, like he did.
Meaningful, but it's not really meaningful. It's meaningful. Prayer in itself is meaningful.
But the connections you make are different.
To make it real.
The connections you make are different than maybe the connections he made. Like in terms of this connection.
Yeah, but if you really thought you're talking to God, right? It would be an awesome experience. And like he would always mincha, like the afternoon prayer, he would do it at the earliest possible time because like to him he was like dependent on it for his like well-being, really. And
Most people do Mincha Mariv, right?
yeah, like mincha Ma'ariv, like do mincha Ma'ariv one after another, right? See if they
Do you want
kill two birds with one stone.
5 minutes later?
Because it's the time we can do them both.
That's how we did it in college.
And I'm trying to figure out, and I want someone's help. I don't want to go too much overtime. No. I want to figure out how to make that, because if you figure out the way to bridge that gap, right, and to really live with your priorities, it's a different life. It's meaning, it's experiences that you otherwise just wouldn't have.
I must admit, like, the congregation that I went to in New Jersey, it's like a conservative synagogue, like the Orthodox cantor and conservative rabbi. The cantor was he was world renowned, known around the world for his singing and his kiddush. Like, he could do a hour-long kiddush, like, not even exaggerating. Like, we had it as an teacher, he would do that for our mom.
Stopwatch.
Yeah, but like because it was like they would use the tunes, like it was mostly conservative tunes, but it was like tunes that I hear in different congregations, but everyone was singing in unison. But yet, it's hard. I have yet to find a synagogue where I feel that connection of being able to just have that unison. Like I've gone to Chabad, I've gone to like the conservative synagogues, which with me it feels really reform. Like I prefer, like I don't care before or after the service, but during the service. I like a kosher for Shabbos because then you have that connection to all the people, to when the Ten Commandments were presented at the All Souls. Like I have not found be able to find that connection that I had with that synagogue just found that like I've gone to Chabad where like they're all about praying as an individual versus a group and that community. But sometimes it's just finding that right niche.
But what you're saying is you shouldn't have to find that niche. It should always be the same.
Well, it could be even praying by yourself, or I don't know why the discussion is really focusing on prayer. Prayer is one aspect of this. Prayer is an experience that I think could be just life altering, right? If you were able to meet Bill Clinton for coffee, it would be a life altering experience. It'd be awesome, like Bill Clinton.
I see why they offer like different options for services, like an Orthodox service, they have a service and Reform, they have a nature walk, they have yoga. So there's different ways.
But just the idea of talking to God, that principle, or that just the thought of that trumps everything. Like everything else is semantics.
Yeah.
But when were you wondering this? Did you when you were speaking to your grandfather, you could have.
No, and I used him because he was a demonstration of someone who.
I'm trying to say, like, were you thinking that at the time? Did you think to ask him? Did you feel like this from day one, or when did you suddenly feel that?
18, please. What do you expect from me?
No, I'm saying like.
Why?
I bet he didn't stop feeling like that. I bet something happened to him.
Your grandfather's a minority. I mean,
for sure.
So why?
But
we have to find the reason for that.
But people are miserable, and the vast majority of people don't have successful lives in every part of their lives. So you're saying it was some sort of experience, some single event.
And you hear that all the time.
I don't think so. I think it's some dedicated. But let's forget about prayer for a second. Let's talk about relationships. Yeah, give an example.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Wait, go ahead.
No, he does that every time. He's like, let's do the example. I was like, oh, let's put it into relationship.
No, sorry.
Who does that?
My grandmother's at 7 acres.
Okay.
My grandmother is 93.
Wow.
Mine too.
Wow.
Generally speaking, like she's doing okay.
Italian.
She's doing okay. I literally live 10, 15 minutes away.
Oh my god.
And I do not see her nearly as enough as I should. Okay?
That you're so close. What is the excuse?
So,
Let him talk.
I'm just saying. Exactly.
in my heart, I know, like, I think about her. I
Good.
we have a great relationship, but somewhere and I think to myself, oh, like I really need to go tomorrow. I need to go see her. I haven't seen her in a couple weeks, and like she can't answer the phone as well anymore. So like I literally means I have to go and visit her, and then somewhere there's like a disconnect, and that's what I think. Like I know I need to go. I feel I need to go, and actually I went tonight, and it was like I was like I had kind of a lousy day. Like I feel great now. Like I was just like I was good to see her. Like we had a great visit. So like I mean, is that
That's a good. I think maybe the way to describe it is that that's a priority in your life is your family.
sure?
But sometimes your priorities get pushed to the side for whatever reason. And I think children is even a better example. It's like your children really are everything. It's your legacy. It's what you're giving over to the world. It's a tremendous investment. But how many parents are too focused on other things and don't end up spending time with their children?
Different times your priorities are different. You say, make your most important priorities first, but sometimes, going to supermarket is your most important, and other times it's getting, your work done so you can make money and put food on the table. So priorities change daily, I think, if not weekly.
No, but how many people are there that if you were to ask them to list the priorities, would list their family, their spouse, their children, number one or number two, right? And neglect them or mistreat them or don't give enough attention.
And not.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
People can be so high in the priority totem pole, but actually, in actuality, translated into practice, it's neglected.
But I think he highlighted something by saying, I always thought of going. Then he went to sleep, whatever. Then he woke up the next day and thought, whatever. But if you actually write it down and you have it in front of your face, it makes a difference. You come home from work like,
You're saying you got to remind yourself of your priorities.
No, yeah, really. If you write it down, then you would be like, I really should go see them.
Ooh, so what Dave is saying is that you have to make a list of your priorities.
Really
Whatever that is.
for you?
I sound stupid, but it really does help.
With my dad's part of parents, it was really hard. I didn't actually have much of a relationship with my grandmother until after I went to Germany. And then my grandfather, because I didn't, every time, oh, hi, grandmother, and she'd be like,